So Toy Story 4 is out now. I hope you've had a chance to see it. If not, do not watch this video because it's going to be full of spoilers, and I'm just going to talk about some of the themes and just some of the events that happen in the film. It's not going to be a play-by-play commentary of the entire plot of the film, just talking about some things that I couldn't talk about in my spoiler-free video, or things that I forgot to talk about because I'm a forgetful piece of crap like that. So the film starts out like 9 years in the past, and we see Andy playing with Woody and Buzz, and we basically see how Bo Peep left the scene before Toy Story 3. And very quickly, that's what I was talking about in my spoiler-free video when I said the opening scene has some of the best animation that I've ever seen, and it's when RC is being swept away down that storm drain with the mud and the rain and the leaves. It was just so mind-blowing how photorealistic that animation was. So great, and a great cameo from RC, by the way. It was cool to see that little guy back. But yeah, Bo Peep gets sold out to this guy, and there's this heartfelt goodbye between her and Woody, and she talks about how it's inevitable for toys to be given away by their owners and sold off, more or less setting up Toy Story 3, but also the themes coming in Toy Story 4 later on, when she's the nomad, all by herself adventurer. And that's just the concept that I really love that Toy Story 4 explores, is toys who don't have owners and not in daycare centres that are being ruled by strawberry smelling bears. It's the toys who are out there in the world just living for themselves. And those themes right there is what really surprised me about Toy Story 4, because it explores the whole concept of living for yourself and being happy for you and yourself and doing what you want to do in life and not doing what you think you're supposed to do or what you were meant to do. And in that aspect, Toy Story 4 does feel like a natural progression from Toy Story 3, because Toy Story 3 was all about Andy giving away the toys and them letting go of Andy and moving on to the new owner. But the toys are still alive and they still have their own feelings and emotions, so what do they think about themselves and their places in the world? And Woody trying to find his place in the world and trying to move away from having an owner and just try to be happy by himself. Some pretty heavy stuff and some pretty emotional stuff as well. And you get to the end of the film, and I know I'm jumping the gun now and going straight to the end of the film, but it's the big goodbye between Woody, Buzz, Jessie and the whole gang of toys. That's where the feels come in big time. And that's where, like I said in my spoiler-free video, I was like, oh my god, Pixar, what are you doing to me? Because again, I'm nostalgically tied to Toy Story 1 and 2, so I'm really attached to these characters, Woody, Buzz Lightyear, so seeing them part ways, going their separate ways and saying goodbye to each other, hell yeah, that's emotional. I mean, Disney is providing all the cry time this year with Avengers Endgame, Toy Story 4, probably Lion King later on as well. But they just know how to do it. They tug at the heartstrings, but they don't do it in a way that's manipulative or in a way that's just like being overly sentimental. It's true to the characters and true to the story they're trying to tell for the film. I'm actually glad that they made Toy Story 4 in that aspect, because again, it feels like a natural progression for these characters after Toy Story 3. So yeah, the film completely justified its existence for me on that level. One thing I forgot to talk about in my spoiler-free video was the villain Gabby. I actually really liked her as a villainous presence. She was somewhat entertaining. I liked her goons, those evil-looking doll things. They were quite funny, the way they were walking like kind of bent backwards and like stumbling over things. They were kind of funny. But eventually you find out her motivation, and I was like, wow, she's actually kind of a sympathetic villain, because she wants Woody's voice box. She wants to rip it out, put it in there because she's got a broken voice box. But really, she just wants to be loved by a kid. That's it. She's been in the antique shop for as long as she can remember, and she just wants a kid to come along and love her, and she wants all that love and affection from the kid. And it was actually kind of sad when, you know, that one girl looks at her and just tosses her back in the box. You're like, oh, she didn't get her kid, and you kind of feel bad for her. And then later on, when they see that kid crying because she's been lost, and she goes up to her, like, he obviously does the toy thing and falls down, but the kid picks her up, embraces her, finds her parents, and that was really sweet. Other things in the film that I liked that I forgot to mention in my first video, Bo Peep, I liked the fact that she's a badass now. She's kind of a nomad adventurer out in the world, living for herself and helping other toys find owners, and she's just living in the carnivals, going around and seeing the world and stuff. She was really cool, and the dynamic between her and Woody was really good once again. Forky. I forgot to mention Forky in my original video. I have no idea. He's one of the centerpieces of the film, but I was just stupid that day, I guess. But Forky was really hysterical. I like how he's trying to constantly throw himself in the trash. He's like, nope, I'm trash. That was really funny. Woody and Forky's misadventures were funny, and his development to finally accepting being a toy was really good, really well done. I was a little bit disappointed that some of the toys like Rex and Hammond Slinky Dog were kind of left in the background and they didn't have much to do in the film. They just pretty much spend the entire film in the RV when all the other characters are out there doing the adventure. And I understand you can't have every single toy, you know, along for the ride because they're going to get back to the RV, Bonnie and her parents, and we're going to be like, oh my god, where's the toys? So they need to stay behind for that aspect, but I just wanted to see more of Rex and Hammond, the old toys that I knew and loved from the first 3 films, especially Rex. There's something about Rex I love Rex. I'm going to see the film again on Monday, and hopefully I get to enjoy the film more this time, because the first time there was one of them in the cinema, and it kind of took me out of a lot of the emotional moments of the film, because every 5 seconds the kid was like, rah, rah, just making noises and jumping all over his mum and stuff. So hopefully there's none of them, and hopefully I get to enjoy the emotion, and hopefully it hits me more than it did the first time. As for a possible Toy Story 5, what could it actually be about? Is it going to be about Woody and Bo Peep and those guys at the carnival finding owners for the toys? Or is it going to be about Buzz and Jessie and those guys back at Bonnie's place? I couldn't imagine a Toy Story film without either Woody or Buzz Lightyear. So it's going to be interesting to see if they do a Toy Story 5, but we'll just have to wait and see. But anyway guys, thanks for watching as always. Let me know your spoiler-filled thoughts on Toy Story 4, and are you interested in seeing a Toy Story 5, or do you want Toy Story 4 to be the actual conclusion to this franchise? Whatever your thoughts are, let me know down there, and if you want to see more of my stuff, click on one of these in a second, and I'll see you all next time.